The truth is that love is not earned by begging. It is not asked for. It is not requested. It imposes itself, and above all, it is tested. Maybe you think that loving a woman means filling her, reassuring her, covering her with attention. You think that by being too good, too present, too available, you will be loved in return? But Machiavelli would have laughed in your face, because in his vision, human nature responds to power, not to sweetness. A woman does not fall in love with a man who loves her. She falls in love with a man she cannot entirely understand, nor entirely control. Do you want to know why? Because that mystery, that cold fire she feels when you slip away from her a little, is exactly what draws her in. Women say they want a kind man, stable, reliable. But what they truly want is a man who makes them doubt, a man whose inner strength pushes them forward, a man who dares to break them. Not physically, but mentally. The one who makes them see their weaknesses, their illusions, and who, without even intending to, forces them to grow. In this world where men have become soft, emotional, dependent, a man who knows how to keep his composure, his coldness, and his value becomes a living mystery. And Machiavelli said that men forget more easily the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. Translate that into the language of love. A woman will forget a kind man far faster than a man who has deeply marked her. Stay until the end of this video, because I am going to show you how to be that man. The one who does not beg for love, but compels it to come to him. The one who dares to shatter the perception a woman has of herself, to make her see the true face of desire. And in the end, you will understand why in the real world, love is not tenderness, but power. Women do not fall in love with goodness. They fall in love with emotional power. Do you want to know why so many kind men end up alone? Because they confuse goodness with value. They think that by giving, by being attentive, available, authentic, they will be loved. But what they do not understand is that goodness without power has no flavor. It is like honey without fire. It is sweet, but it leaves no mark. Machiavelli had already grasped this. Love and loyalty are not born of weakness, but of the respect that strength commands. A woman does not fall in love with you because you are kind. She falls in love because your emotional presence unsettles her, because you represent a form of control she cannot exercise. The truth is that in any relationship, there is an invisible power dynamic, and that power is not expressed through raw domination, but through self-control. A woman is attracted to the man who, despite his charm, remains indifferent to her manipulations, to her tests, to her silences. The man who does not let his emotions lead him, but who knows how to observe them. A man who does not react, but acts with intention. When you are too good, you become predictable, and what is predictable becomes boring. You no longer stimulate anything in her. You are no longer a challenge. You no longer awaken that part of her that needs to feel tension, danger, the surge of adrenaline that comes from the presence of a man who is grounded, calm, but unreachable. Look around you. Women claim to want a kind man, yet they often end up with men who make them cry, who make them doubt, who make them think. Why? Because those men trigger deep emotions. They take her from anger to desire, from frustration to admiration. And it is that emotional movement that creates attachment. Do you want a woman to think about you all the time? Do not give her emotional security too soon. Make her doubt a little. Confront her with herself. Make her wonder. Because emotional stimulation is the root of genuine desire. Machiavelli would have said that a man must be both fox and lion in a relationship. Either fully one or the other, soft when the moment requires it, but unshakable when she tests her limits. Be attentive, but never dependent. Be present, but never assumed. It is this duality, goodness governed by power, that creates respect. And respect is the foundation of love. When you understand that, you stop trying to please and you start imposing your energy. Paradoxically, it is at that exact moment that she begins to see you as a rare man, because you become the one she cannot manipulate nor possess. And believe me, a woman truly loves only the one she cannot tame. Every woman tests the man she desires, not because she wants to hurt him, but because she wants to know how far he can hold. It is a silent law of feminine nature. She must verify that the man she chooses is not emotionally weak. These tests are not always obvious. Sometimes it is a sharp remark. Sometimes it is a sudden absence. Sometimes it is prolonged silence just to see your reaction. And that is where many men fail. They take offense, they justify themselves, they turn cold or start pleading. In a single moment, they lose all their power. Machiavelli said that it is much safer to be feared than loved. Let us translate that into modern language. It is better to be respected than validated. A woman does not need a man who seeks her approval. She wants a man who remains centered, even when she tries to destabilize him, because it is in that moment that she discovers your true nature. There is nothing cruel about this testing. It is instinctive. When she provokes you, she is not looking for conflict. She is looking for proof. Proof that you are not driven by your need to be loved, but by your inner mastery. And if you keep your composure, if you remain upright without anger and without justification, she feels something she cannot control: respect. Every time you fall into reactivity, you confirm her fear. You are not stable, but every time you remain impassive, you intrigue her further. You become a mystery, and that mystery is the fuel of genuine desire. Remember this: a woman's tests are not attacks. They are invitations to solidity. She wants to see if you can contain her, channel her, reassure her without crumbling. And if you pass through those trials without losing your balance, she no longer sees you as just a man. She sees you as a pillar dot, so do not flee from these tests. Welcome them with calm. Answer with a look, a silence, a quiet presence. Because deep down, she is not trying to break you. She is looking for a man she cannot break. Breaking a woman is not violence. It is revealing her truth. When Machiavelli spoke of power, he was not speaking of physical domination or cruel manipulation. He was speaking of lucidity, that ability to see beyond illusions and in relationships. It is that lucidity which shatters masks. Not to break a woman in this sense is not to wound her. It is to make her see what she is running from. It is to make her feel that she cannot play with you as she does with others. It is to confront her ego with something stronger than itself, the truth. Most women live in a world where everyone tries to please them. Men who contort themselves to seduce, who bend over backwards to exist, who are afraid to say no. But when she meets a man who dares to tell her no, who dares to reframe her, who dares to leave without anger, she loses her footing. And it is precisely at that moment that she begins to feel something real, because you represent the first resistance she has ever truly encountered. You do not break her by force. You break her through your stability. You refuse to enter her emotional game. You refuse to bend to her whims. And that refusal becomes a revelation. She has no control. That loss of control creates a crack in her inner world. And in that crack, you engrave yourself. Because you embody something she does not yet understand, but respects instinctively. Quiet power dot to break a woman is to show her that she can desire you without dominating you. It is to make her feel that she can be vulnerable without being rejected. It is to awaken in her the need for a man who does not flatter her, but reveals her. You see, a weak man compliments her to seduce her. A strong man confronts her to elevate her. And even if in the moment she resents you for it, deep down she knows you are different. You are not afraid of losing her because you are not afraid of being alone. And it is that independence which captivates her. So do not be afraid to break a woman, as long as what you break are her illusions. Because it is only at that moment that she can love with. Authenticity. The greatest power a man possesses is not his physical strength. It is not his money. It is not even his looks. It is his capacity for emotional detachment. Machiavelli said that the one who depends on others for his security will always be their slave. And in relationships, this truth is relentless. As long as your mood depends on her attention, her messages, her reactions, you are no longer a free man. You are a prisoner in disguise. A woman feels what you do not say. She senses when you are in need. She perceives when you are trying to convince her, when you are trying to reassure her, when you want to please her. And in that moment, your energy shifts. You are no longer a pillar. You become a reed. Detachment is not indifference. It is total mastery of your inner world. It is the ability to love without depending, to desire without begging, to act without hesitation. It is looking a woman in the eyes and making her understand, without a single word, I want you, but I do not need you. And believe me, that silent message is worth 1,000 declarations of love, because it creates tension, polarity. She wonders why you are not chasing her like the others, why you seem so calm, so certain, so detached. It fascinates her because it reflects back an image she cannot decipher, a man she cannot control. Do you want to know what silent dominance is? It is when your presence disturbs her more than your words. It is when she tests you, provokes you, pushes you to react, and you simply remain there, grounded, peaceful, steady, without justification. That calm is pure authority. It is a form of energy that commands respect without raising your voice. A man who is centered becomes rare, and everything that is rare becomes precious. This is why those who master themselves become irresistible, because they embody freedom. And freedom is what every human being craves. But few know how to sustain. Do not try to dominate her with words, promises, or threats. Dominate with your silence, your coherence, and your emotional independence. That is how she will fear you slightly and love you deeply. Here is the hardest truth to accept. As long as you play a woman's game, you lose. As long as you track her reactions, her messages, her moods, you place yourself beneath her. And a man beneath a woman can never be desired. The game is subtle. She is not always conscious of it. It is instinctive. She pushes you to doubt, to search for signs, to want to prove your worth. And every time you fall into that trap, she feels that you depend on her. From that moment on, the dynamic shifts. You are no longer a mystery. You are a given. But the day you stop playing, everything changes. The day you no longer respond in the very second, no longer try to decode everything, no longer chase understanding, no longer seek to fill every silence, that day, she is the one who begins to wonder. She asks herself why he no longer reacts, why he seems so settled. And little by little, the power reverses, because she realizes that her world does not revolve around you, but yours does not revolve around her either. And that realization destabilizes her. Machiavelli said that men harm more readily those they love than those they fear. It works exactly the same here. As long as she feels you are dependent, she tests you, she hurts you, she provokes you. But the moment you become calm again, distant, solid, she respects you. And respect generates attachment. You want her to desire you? Learn to face her without losing yourself. Learn to be in your world without being trapped in hers. Learn to respond with presence, but without emotional surrender. Learn to love without submission. It is at that precise moment that she truly becomes attached. Not because of what you say, but because of what you represent. You become the incarnation of what she searches for without daring to admit it. A stable man, free and elusive. You see, most men seek to seduce. Real men seek to rise. And when you rise, you no longer need to chase love. Because love, or rather desire, comes to you. So remember, when you stop playing her game, she is the one who starts playing yours. And know this, you cannot control a woman. You can only control yourself. And it is that mastery, that absolute calm in the face of her tests and her whims, that creates true desire. Stop seeking her approval. Stop trying to please or seduce her with hollow words. Your silence, your constancy, your stability, all of this speaks louder than any declaration. When you become that man, she can no longer ignore you. She begins to doubt, to feel, to desire. She sees a pillar, a rock, a quiet force. And this is where deep attachment is born. Remember, breaking a woman is not violence. It is revealing her truth, dominating without force, fascinating without effort, remaining free while being desirable. This is the law of loving power. Be that man. Be the one she cannot possess, but cannot forget. It is at that moment that real power appears. And only then do you understand what Machiavelli truly meant. Real love is not born of submission. It is born of power.